So you're with the comic book stuff?
I am, yes, but we do branch out a little bit, which I'm pleased about because I'm a big Western fan and I had such a good time watching this film. And I know you've done Westerns before, but what is it that keeps bringing you back to this genre? I know as a film goer, I just love these stories, but is it the same for you?
Absolutely. I'm a Western fan, and as a producer, I get to try to bring movies to the screen that I want to see, and this is certainly one of them. Dallas Sonnier brought me the script. Renegade is my company. The last one we did is called Murder at Yellowstone City, and that made it to number one on Netflix, which tells us that there's an audience for good Westerns, and they're still out there. It's not easy to get to number one on Netflix as a film, and we did with a Western. So that was cool. And I'm always looking for more Westerns to tell. I love the genre. I've always loved the genre, and I love the stories that you get to tell about lawlessness, about the moral code that we all carry around inside, and ultimately, when there's no one there watching you, what do you do? Well, what do you do? What would you actually do? If there was no consequences for your actions other than living with it. And so where's the line for people, and what holds us back, and what makes us better is what you get to explore in a Western. So that's why I love to do them. And that's why I love to do this one. It was based on a book. Harry Whittington was known as the king of the pulps. And he wrote about six books that are terrific. One of them being Desert Stakeout. Guy wrote hundreds of books. Six of them are like standouts, like his best stuff. Desert Stakeout is one of those books. And so the dialogue, all the characters and the plot, it's all out of the book, which you don't always see. But man, we borrowed as much as we possibly could because we love the story, love the dialogue. Dialogue was really fun.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more then. And I'm sorry to say before this film, I wasn't familiar with Miles's work, and I think he's fantastic as Merrick, and with the
Yeah.
performance here, really puts him on the map. But what did you enjoy,
Good.
obviously, working with an up-and-coming actor like him? And did you maybe share any words of wisdom with him while working on this
Well,
one?
I mean, nobody likes to be told what to do. But as actors, it is an oral medium. In other words, the craft of acting is passed down from actor to actor, and it's been that way for 2,000 years. That's the only way you learn it. You learn it from other actors that have been doing it longer than you. And then those actors, the young ones, will watch the older actors and they will learn. And mostly it's through watching. And then they'll pick up different pieces that resonate with them, and they'll create their own toolbox as they go through their career. And then other actors will come along and pick up those tools, and thus they've been passed down through generation after generation. So it's always a joy to pass the baton to the guys that are coming up.
Yeah, for sure. And some of my favorite scenes of yours are with Armie Hammer's character, Edmund. There's a really interesting tension between the two of you. It's almost a little father-son like and very antagonistic. How much in contrast did you enjoy working with him and playing with those kind of dynamics as well?
Army is terrific. He's an erudite, very intelligent, educated, creative. He's an artist, and he's a great guy. I had a blast. He's done a lot of work on himself, and it shows. People either get beat down by life or they rise to the occasion. And Army has risen to the occasion. He's a good human being. And I like to see that. We all have challenges. We've all got our road to hoe, right? And how you do it and what you do with it is what really counts. So if I were in trouble, Army would be one of the guys that I could call, and I know that he'd be there. When you get beat up, it tends to make you humble. And I've been through it, and I know that it makes us better people.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. And I think this is a really great project for him and for you.
We
And
made we made cowboy coffee every day. We didn't have trailers, so we would show up and grab firewood wherever we could, and we'd build a little pit and we'd make cowboy coffee every morning, and we'd keep that fire going, and the other actors would come around, and we were shooting in the fall, so it would get chilly at night, really chilly. So that fire became became the central sort of like fire that we would all dance around as we were making the movie. And that was Armie, one day just going, I want to build a fire. And we were out in the middle of goddamn nowhere. So we did that every day.
Oh, that's awesome. And I know I've read a lot that the film, all practical effects, all you all did your own stunts. And I want to be careful what I say about the Crucible scene, but were those some really challenging days on set for you, particularly working with those practical stunts? I know you've done a lot of action before, but
And I messed up my shoulder and took months for it to heal. That just happens every now and then. I've messed up my knees before. You throw yourself into it. You try to stretch and take care of yourself and be safe with the other actor. That's number one. But invariably you'll get banged up. And I carried that one around for a few months. That hurt in my shoulder. It's just gotten better. I think it took about 4 months for it to calm down. Um, I love it though. If the insurance company tells me I can't do it, then I can't do it. But other than that, I'm doing it. I love the physicality of what we do. I love, it's playing. It's play. Some people grow up and they never grow out of that need to play, and kids have a need. It's not just like they like it. They need to play. It's part of how they work out who they are. It's how they learn about other people. That interhuman tangle that you get into, but it's a game. It's fun. So as a kid, you don't. You always have an out. When you grow up, things get serious, right? But that's wrong. It is a game. It's always a game. And the more we can remind each other of that, the better we'll feel, and then the better we'll treat each other.
yeah, for sure. What a great sentiment. And just while I've got you, Thomas, I got to ask you about the Punisher. You were the first Punisher I saw, with that 2004 film. There's a lot of talk about characters from the past coming back in these next Avengers films. Is the door open for you, do you think, to maybe revisit that role? I know it's one you've
I
been passionate about.
I was very passionate about it. I did a short film called Dirty Laundry
Yeah.
that I produced and put together, and I had a blast. And I'm so grateful to have been inducted into that world. I'm a big comic book fan. My graphic novel is just being completed with Comixology. It's called The Lycan. It's obviously a werewolf book about a gang of big game hunters, in the late 1700s. Or they get shipwrecked on an island that has a bit of a wolf problem. And Mike Carey wrote the script. I'm really proud of the Lycan. So we're putting the finishing touches on issue 6 right now, and that'll be out in December. And then we'll get the graphic novel out, next year. So on Kindle, you can check out the Lycan right now.
Yeah, for sure. That sounds fantastic. And the legacy of that role, obviously John Bernthal's taken over from you and he's going to be in the next Spider-Man film now next year. Do you ever get a little twinge of jealousy that you wish you were there doing that? Or are you just proud of the legacy that's followed you, these decades later?
I was miscast as Frank Castle. Frank Castle's an Italian, he's got black hair. He's has a whole different sort of lineage that he was born out of in the 70s. The antithesis of the mob, right? The Italian mob had taken over the world briefly, and The Godfather came out of that. And then Frank was the answer to that, Francis Castiglione. And I'm not that guy. I had to dye my hair black and I had to become a different guy. I'm happy that the part is played by somebody who, is more right for that role. I had fun and I did the best I could with it. Um, and I'm very grateful for it, but I'm not that guy.
Yes, fair enough. Well, obviously, it's a great role for you as this one is. And, with this film, I love how we're thrown into the thick of the action and pick up with these characters. But is it helpful to you to give a lot of thought to the backstory of someone like Charlie, or do you just like as an actor to be thrown into the deep end as well in some ways?
You want to do as much homework as you possibly can in the time that you have to do it, So even if the script is just only loosely based on the novel, you still want to read the novel.
Yeah.
You want to learn about the writer. Why did he write this novel? Where was he in his life? Where did this come in his iconography of his career? And all of those things can inform the kind of character that you're going to play and the kind of story that you're going to tell. So I do as much homework as I possibly can. It all feeds the fire. Whatever I can throw on the fire, I'll throw it on there.
Yeah, for sure. I think it came together fantastically. This is such a compelling, just brilliant watch, and you're phenomenal in it, Thomas, and such a pleasure speaking to you. So thank you so much for taking the time.
Check out the Lichen.
Yes, definitely. I'm looking forward to that one. Hopefully we can catch up about that down the line too, because I'd love to see you star in a film version of that, and I haven't even read it yet, but I'm sure it'd be great.
It would make a great movie. Not every comic book would make a great movie, but
Yeah,
this one actually would make a really strong film. So I'm excited for people to check it out.
for sure. That sounds awesome. Well, Thomas, thank you so much again. Big fan of yours. It's been great speaking to you.
Pleasure. Thanks, buddy.
Have a great day. Thanks.